4 pounds of frozen petite golden white corn. Now I'm coming in with 1 pound of unsalted butter. Put that right in the center there. Fresh lime juice. And we are just gonna give this a healthy amount here. Soaking this corn in that beautiful lime juice. Flaky salt. Giving that a good amount. A little bit of pepper. It's starting to smell good. And some of our Cajun seasoning. Perfect. This goes traditionally with this dish, this Cajun, and I am just gonna let that butter start melting, and we're gonna give this a good stir, start getting our corn roasted, that butter melted, and then I'll show you what we are doing next. All right, y'all, we just broke up our butter here into smaller chunks since it was that big block, and we're just kind of spreading it throughout our corn here. We just chopped it right in there with a knife, but of course you could break it up before you put it in there if you want. Alrighty, I got 2 cans of Rotel. I'm using fire roasted and mild. And I did leave the juices in here. Woo! Now I've got a block of just Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm using the full fat, and I'm actually adding in 2 blocks here because this is a good amount of corn. Now I've got these individual blocks of Velveeta fresh and seal. They just come in small blocks like this, and you keep them in the fridge. I've got my sour cream here. I'm gonna add 1/2 a cup of sour cream to this, just eyeballing it. Now we've got some purple onion, and I'm gonna mix this throughout. Oh, this is starting to look so beautiful. Don't you love these fresh colors for summer? This is just like all the fresh, delicious corn, that Rotel, this purple red onion, our cheeses. I have got an 8-ounce block of pepper jack cheese. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of do the same thing as with the butter. I'm just gonna break this into smaller slices so I can spread it throughout here. Of course, if you don't like spicy, you don't have to use pepper jack. You could keep it, you know, a queso quesadilla, or you could use a cheddar jack, Monterey jack. I just like the pepper jack. We like things a little bit spicy here. All right, I'm gonna use some of my garlic powder here. Ah, gosh, I love garlic. It's just my favorite flavor of all time. A dash of chili powder, because we are making a Mexican dish. Cayenne pepper. Perfect. And a little bit of paprika. Woo! All right, we're gonna add in some of our cottage cheese. And this is it just crumbles right up just like this. Ooh, this is so yummy. And I'm excited. I've got some other recipes planned for this, which is perfect. I've got another Mexican inspired delicious treat that I'm gonna whip up tomorrow, so I won't let any of this block of cotija go to waste. Perfect. Put just a little bit more of the cotija. And we're gonna finish this up with some fresh cilantro, and we're just gonna cut this up. I'm just shredding it right on the spot here, fresh from the bunch. And of course, if you're not a cilantro person, I know some people aren't, just go ahead and leave this out, but I personally love it. To me, it tastes like pure sunshine and vitamins and health, so I like the cilantro. All right, we're gonna give this a good stir, but you can see everything is starting to melt and come to, oh wow. Now that I'm stirring this, that lime, that cilantro, wow, it is just really, really the flavors, the flavor profile on my nose is just turning absolutely extraordinary. Oh my gosh, the cotija is already melting, our pepper jack, our butter's in here, our corn, we've got that sour cream, we've got this delicious cream cheese blocks that I'm just kind of helping along, breaking up in here. We got a little Velveeta for extra creaminess, and of course, our purple, red onion. Oh, you can start to see this cheese coming together already. All right, guys, what I'm gonna do, you can either leave this, if you're doing it on the grill, leave it on your grill, just shut that top, leave it for about 30 minutes, maybe stir it 15 minutes of the way through. Or if you're doing it inside like me, you could leave this on the griddle, same thing, or you could pop it into your oven. And then I'll show you what we're doing next. All right, y'all, we've just had this beautiful baby simmering here for about 20 minutes. We've got our stove here on our griddle setting, but I am just gonna turn this down to simmer because we're gonna leave it right here for the party to serve. Now I'm just using my Tostitos scoops, my favorite chip, and then I've just got my ladle here. Isn't that cute? Look, this is Nessie the Loch Ness Monster. Look at that. This is made by my friends at Ototo. So cute. I hope I'm saying that right. I really, really love their stuff. Look how adorable that is. Love it. I'm gonna set that right here for everyone to grab. And now, the moment of truth, it is time to have a bite of this. And I promise I did not sneak a bite beforehand. All right, y'all, moment of truth time. I recommend trying to find some chunks of that cotija cheese in there. It is so good. The corn tastes so fresh. The lime and the purple onion brings such a freshness to this. All the other flavors are just absolutely perfect in symphony together. Y'all, this street corn dip is so easy, so good. You gotta try it. That's just one 11-ounce box of my Nilla wafers. Now I'm coming in with 1 stick of melted butter. Just gonna pour that all over these wafers. And now I'm just gonna grab my little meat masher here and start mashing these up. Alrighty, now that we got all our Nillas smashed up, I'm just gonna push this down. We're gonna let that form a beautiful, delicioso crust on the bottom here. All right, now I'm coming in with my Philadelphia whipped cream cheese. I've got a bowl right over here, and this is a 12-ounce container, and I need 8 ounces of it. So I am just putting about 2/3 of it into this bowl. Now I'm coming in with my sweetened condensed milk, and I'm gonna give this a squeeze. Squeeze. We're gonna put this whole package in here. This is the same amount as in a can, if you can believe it, in this sack. Isn't that crazy what you can fit into a sack versus a can? And it can be the same amount. All right. I'm just gonna start whipping this together. We're gonna get this all mixed up, but we're not done yet. Y'all are gonna love this. Hang on for just 1 second. All right, that's perfect. We've got our cream cheese mixed with that condensed milk. Now I've got some vanilla Jell-O instant pudding. Of course, you can use a different flavor if you like. I think cheesecake would be great in this too. And I'm gonna be adding in some whole milk. I'm gonna put in about 3 cups, and I don't have my measuring cup out here, so I'm just gonna kind of like feel it out and eyeball it. It's like 3/4 of this container is 3 cups. Perfect. And now I'm just gonna get this mixed in and incorporated as well. And then I'll show you what's next. All right, we are not done, but we have one more thing we've got to put into this, and that's some Cool Whip. And we're gonna put about 12 ounces, and this was a 16-ounce container. So I'm just putting most of this. I had used a little bit, it actually worked out perfectly. And now I'm just gonna gently fold this in with that pudding and the cream cheese and our sweetened condensed milk and the regular milk. Ooh, y'all, we're making the most decadent dessert today. No bake, delicious, so tasty, so beautiful. Y'all are gonna love this. All right, that looks gorgeous. Let's bring this baby right over here onto that crust. Ooh. Look at that thick, decadent layer. Oh my goodness. Y'all, this is gonna be so good. Like I said, you could make this any flavor you wanted. If you wanted to make it chocolate, if you wanted to make it cheesecake, if you wanted to make it blueberry. Oh, lemon. Oh my God, lemon instant pudding. Delicious. All right, we're just gonna smooth this out and get her into an even layer of rich, creamy, thick, decadent goodness. All right, now that we've got this all spread, I'm just gonna bring in my strawberry here. Now, have you all ever seen this strawberry slicer? Look how convenient this is. I was using it on all my little strawberries here. Woo! Oh, the one time I didn't do it correctly. And you just press that down, and then look, it cuts them into little quarters for you. And it gets them perfect and the same every time. And now I've got my glizz here, my glizz. And we are just gonna add all of this in with those strawberries. Look how beautiful that is. And you can find this in the produce section. I'm sure you could make your own, but I'm doing this a quick, easy way today. So I just bought this glizz from this produce section. And now we're just gonna give this a little tossy toss. Toss all that strawberries. Look at how pretty this is gonna be. Beautiful. It just really enhances the flavor of those strawberries. And berry season is upon us, y'all. The last couple days I've been going to the grocery store. I have seen some beautiful berries there. Alrighty, I'm gonna bring back in my cake. We're gonna start distributing these strawberries. You wanna do it in a fairly even way. So I am just gonna kind of figure out, starting in the center, put some up at the top, on the sides, and then I'm gonna spread them a little bit, but look how gorgeous this is, and how good is this gonna be with that vanilla, delicious, homemade cheesecake pudding we have underneath. Oh my goodness, isn't this beautiful, y'all? No baking, so easy. Don't have to turn on your oven in the heat of summer. You can just whip up this beautiful, icebox cake. Oh, and this is just perfect. You don't like vanilla wafers? Use graham for the bottom. Change up the flavors, but I think you and your family are going to love this. Alrighty, look at those gorgeous layers. We've got those vanilla wafers, that delicious creamy layer in the middle, and of course our strawberries on top. I'm just gonna pop this into my fridge for about 2 hours, and then we'll be ready to enjoy. Alrighty, everyone. We had this in our fridge for about 2 hours. Gosh, these strawberries just smell incredible with that delicious cheesecake underneath and our crust. I cannot wait. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be the perfect thing to serve for your summer get together. A nice cool treat for a hot day or night. Let's get this out of here. Oh my goodness, look at that crust, just stayed perfectly on there. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to get this. And I think this pudding mixed with that cream cheese, everything about this center part is just gonna be so delicious and creamy. Wow. This is incredible, y'all. 10 out of 10. You gotta try this. All right, that was our 5 kielbasas cut into pieces. Just dumping that all into my tray here. Now I'm coming in with my light brown sugar, and we're gonna add about 3 cups of light brown sugar to these kielbasas. You can use dark brown sugar if you prefer. Now I've got my Dijon mustard. I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of this Dijon straight in here. I love the flavor this brings. We're gonna use some Concord Squeeze grape jelly, and this is a larger portion because we're making this for a family gathering, but you can always half this recipe. So you can use half a cup of that light brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of Dijon. I'm probably putting in about a half a cup of jelly right now, just because I like the flavor profile it brings, but you can always leave the jelly out. And now I've just got some distilled white vinegar, and I am just gonna add in about 4 tablespoons of this white vinegar to our mix here. Now I just put my gloves on. I'm just gonna start mixing and incorporating this all. This is gonna be a really delicious, this is an appetizer, it could be a side dish. You just put a few other sides with this, and then you have the perfect meal for your barbecue, for your next family gathering. I love to serve this on holidays like Memorial Day, Labor Day, Easter. I think this is just such a festive, delicious, yummy treat that is a crowd pleaser. Everyone loves this. You cannot go wrong with these kielbasas. Just making sure these guys are all nice and coated, and look at how thick that sauce is with our sugar. Oh, these are gonna be amazing, everyone, amazing. Alrighty, y'all, I'm popping this in my oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. Alrighty, y'all, we had this in the oven at 350 for just about 30 minutes, and then I have had it sitting out just for a second, but look how gorgeous brown these kielbasas are. Ooh, and this brown sugar syrup that they're in. Oh my God, y'all, this is the best treat. I just love a sweet meat, you know? And this is such a yummy side. This is perfect for your next family gathering, for a church, to take to a potluck, for a holiday. Oh my God. With that vinegar and that sweetness, y'all, this is so good. You gotta try it. All right, now that I've got my 1.5 quart vanilla ice cream mixed in here with my chocolate cake, I am just gonna make sure I've got this all in between the cracks here and smoothed to perfection. We are making a super easy treat today. This is about to be perfect for the summer weather. This is super festive, fun to bring to any special occasion. I think you're gonna love it. Now I'm coming in with my original Cool Whip, and I've got some banana cream instant pudding jello here. I'm just gonna add that in right on top. And now I'm gonna bring this over to my mixing bowl, and I'm just gonna put all of this in here. I'm using the large box. You could use any flavor you like if you prefer vanilla, but I did think the banana cream would go so great with the chocolate. And I'm using 16 ounces of Cool Whip. You could get one of the large containers, but I happen to have 2 of these smaller containers at home. So I'm just using up what I have here. And I'm just gonna get this all mixed and incorporated. Oh my goodness, summer is just around the corner, and nothing says delicious to me like wonderful summer treats that you bring to the cookout to share with family and friends. This is such an easy, great one to make. You know, if you're going on a family vacation, if you're having your birthday party in the summer, I think you're really gonna love this and love sharing it with everyone. Now that we've got our Jell-O and our Cool Whip all mixed together, I'm just gonna bring this right over here to my cake, start getting this scooped out. I'm just going right down the center here. And then of course, we are just gonna smooth this on top. It's gonna be a beautiful topping for this delicious treat. All right, oh, and you can use whatever flavor combination you like with this. If you like a white cake, and then you could do a strawberry Jell-O instant pudding on top here with your Cool Whip. I think that would be delicious. That would be so fun. You could put blueberries on top of this, strawberries, make it patriotic for 4th of July. Or, you know, if you're making it for your son or your daughter, you can use whatever their favorite flavors are. You know, I think you could even do this with a yellow cake and a lime Jell-O on top, kind of like a ice cream key lime cake pie. That would be so good. Now, of course, we need toppings. So I'm gonna use our Hershey's chocolate syrup. Ooh, just drizzle that right on top. You could always use strawberry if you like, or caramel. That looks so good. And I've got my mini M&Ms here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and layer those in. Look how pretty, fun, festive, and summer-like that looks. So cute. And this part's totally optional, but I'm just gonna top this with a few rainbow sprinkles to kind of just even enhance, bring out the color of those beautiful M&Ms against our cake here. Oh, this looks incredible. Alrighty, I'm gonna pop this into the freezer for about an hour, and then we'll be ready to enjoy. Alrighty, y'all. We actually ended up leaving this in the freezer overnight, but look how fabulous it looks. I can't think of anything better for a summer birthday celebration. Now I'm just gonna get down in here with my spatula. Right, I am gonna use a knife just to make sure. Oh, okay, I think I was getting all the way down, but I wanted to be sure because we got that cake, that ice cream, those fabulous layers, you know, with our Cool Whip. All right, let's get it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And so much better than an ice cream cake you buy at the store. And you've got some of that frosting on the bottom there, creating like this color scheme and pattern. And that came up on the side, you know, it was on the side of the cake. How pretty is that? Simply beautiful, so easy, semi-homemade ice cream cake. You gotta try it.
All right, y'all, let's feed this bowl. We're gonna start with 1 pound of our Italian sausage. Now we're gonna give it 1 cup of our Italian breadcrumbs. Thank you, Garfield. We're gonna do 1 cup of our Parmesan cheese. All right, maybe 1 1/4 cup, because who's gonna keep a 1/4 cup of cheese? And 1 clove of garlic. That looks about right. Let's get to mixing. Well, we're just gonna mix this up with my favorite mixing tool until we get this nice and incorporated. All right, that should do it. All right, let's put some parchment paper down. And we are just gonna put this right there on top. And now we're just gonna press this down. And roll it out. That looks good. Now that we've got our sausage rolled out, we're just gonna cut this into strips. We'll do 1 here. Perfect. Do 1 here. All right, and then we're gonna do this into 4 equal strips. Maybe, I don't know, I'm kind of eyeballing it, so, oh, that wasn't perfect. All right, we're just gonna pretend those are 4 perfectly equal strips because I have 3 gorgeous zucchinis that are just waiting for an upgrade. First, let's get these cut in half. Now that we got them cut in half, we're just gonna get these arranged on our baking tray here. Perfect. Now we're just going to use our spoon. We're going to hollow out the seeds. All right. That was the last one. So now we're just going to bring in our sausages and we're just going to kind of force it into our zucchini halves, just like this. And we're just going to go ahead and repeat this until we get all our halves filled up, right? And we're just going to get our last one pressed into place here. Perfect. All right, that looks good. Just a few more steps. We're gonna grab your favorite spaghetti sauce. I'm using the Classico today. I like to give it a quick stir so that it pours evenly. All right, and now we're just gonna go ahead and we are gonna pour a little bit of sauce right over our sausage here. That looks good. And repeat. Guys, this is just a quick, easy. I love making this in the summer. You know, it's zucchini season. Oops. There we go. Not a big deal if you have some runoff because it's all gonna stay in the same place. Let's get this last one here. Okay, y'all, that is it. Let's get these into the oven. I'm gonna cover these and cook these for about 45 minutes at 350 degrees. All right, y'all. We had our zucchinis covered and cooking for 45 minutes. Let's get these topped off. All right, as you can see, I did transfer them over to a 9x13. Wasn't sure they'd fit at first, but it looks like they do. And honestly, a little bit easier going forward because I do want to capture as much of this wonderful sauce as I can. We're gonna add a little bit more sauce here now. Now that we're coming down the home stretch, a little bit more here. Now we're gonna add a whole lot more mozzarella cheese. And we're definitely gonna use the whole bag here. All right, this looks good. I don't know, I said definitely, we might not use the whole bag here. No sense in being a glutton. All right, actually I think that looks pretty good. And look, we still got a little bit left. There we go. We're gonna pop this back into the oven at 350 again, just for 10 minutes. All we need to do is melt this cheese. All right, and we're back. Cheese is melted, and we are ready to dive in. I think I see the perfect candidate. I'm gonna dive in here to the back. Oh man, so good. All right, there we go. Now we got this over to our plate. And let's cut ourselves a piece. Oh man, this looks delicious. Zucchini is so tender. Oh my gosh. All right, make sure we get some cheese. Can't believe it, but I think I could even put some more cheese on this. That zucchini. All right, here we go. Cheers, y'all. Oh wow. Y'all, this is delicious. This is a great recipe. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a great one. Take care.
Alrighty, that was 2 8-ounce cans of sweetened condensed milk with 2 cups of chopped pecans. Now I'm coming in with half a stick of melted butter. And we're gonna top that with half a cup of light corn syrup. Alrighty, I'm gonna get this all mixed up. We are making a super delicious treat today. I am just getting this all incorporated. You're gonna have the most delicious treat. If you're a pecan lover like I am, you are not gonna wanna miss this one, and it is so easy. Now that we got this all mixed and incorporated, I'm just coming in with my white box cake mix, and I am just gonna drop this right on top, just like that. You could also use a yellow. I think that would be really good with this, but I am just using the white because that's what I had on hand, and I'm just smoothing this to the edges and patting it down. All right, now I'm coming in with 1 cup of water, and I'm just gonna drizzle this on top of our cake mix. This is gonna get it really moist, really delicious. Yeah, and we're just covering all this cake mix up with that cup of water. Now I'm just gonna add my pats of butter right on there, just like a traditional cake mix. But because we are doing those pecans, and we're gonna need some extra moisture to really make this crust work and give our desired effect, that's why we're putting the water on top. So this is gonna be so easy, so delicious. All right, that's it. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna put this into the oven at 350 for 50 minutes. Alrighty, y'all, we have this baking for 50 minutes at 350 degrees. Now I've gotta say, I think my oven tilts a little bit to this direction because some of our caramel deliciousness popped up from the bottom and came through the crust. But no matter, it's just an appearance. It has nothing to do with the taste. And you know, you can't judge a book by its cover. Ooh, look at this beautiful pecan dump cake deliciousness. Oh my God, this is gonna be so sweet, delicious, like candy on Christmas, but just reminds me of like visiting Marty's family in Georgia with those pecans. I love pecans. You know, you could always add a little cinnamon to this, anything, a little extra that you like. What I'm gonna do, little whipped cream. Alrighty. I cannot wait to give this a try, y'all. I am so excited. That melted butter in there with our pecan, sweetened condensed milk, and that corn syrup. I think this is sure to be delicious. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this is so good. You've got to try it. That was 2 9.5-ounce bags of Fritos. Now I'm coming in with 1.5 pounds of cooked ground beef. I did season this, but don't you worry, we're gonna be adding more seasonings throughout as we make this delicious, easy meal. Now I'm gonna add in about 1/2 medium white diced onion. Now I did buy my onion pre-diced because I have very sensitive eyes, and sometimes I find that cutting onions at home is very difficult for me. But of course you can cut your own if you like. Now I've got 1 diced up red bell pepper here. I'm loving all these beautiful colors, all these gorgeous natural vitamins that we're getting from this nutrient-rich meal. 1 diced green bell pepper. You can opt to cook these with the meat if you like, but I like my peppers and onions to be a little bit more al dente when I'm eating my final casserole. Now I've got 1 can of Rotel drained. Oop, I meant to spread that throughout. That's no problem. I'm just gonna do that with my spatula here. And of course you can use any level of spice with the Rotel that you prefer. If you like that medium, that hot, or just a plain old mild, you could add some more diced green chilies if you'd like to spice this up. I'm coming in with just a little bit of taco seasoning that's gonna get all on those peppers. Now I did use some of this taco seasoning on my meat when I was cooking it, but you can opt to do it either way. Add your own spice combination, but the taco seasoning is so convenient because it has the garlic, the onions, you know, all the things that we like to season with our food in general. I'm gonna set this aside for 1 second and bring in my measuring cup here. Now I'm gonna add to this 1 full cup of sour cream. I'm pretty sure that's about what I've got left in my squeezy bag here. So I am just getting all the rest of this out in here. Now I'm gonna add in 3/4 of cup of your favorite Miracle Whip, whichever kind you like. If you like Duke's or I forget what the other real popular one is. Now I've got some ranch seasoning. I keep a big jar at home, but you wanna just add in the equivalent of 1 packet of ranch seasoning here. That looks great to me. All right, I'm just gonna come in, give this a good stir to get this all incorporated, and then I'll show you what we're doing next. I'm bringing back in my 13x9, and now what we're gonna do is give this kind of a good scoop and drizzle over the top. I wanna get this all spread out, make sure we've got the full surface here covered. Y'all, this is gonna be so tasty, so delicious. Now, this recipe was named after a famous cowboy. There's also a university that has the same kind of name as the cowboy's nickname. So if any of y'all out there can guess who this is named after and why, you know, leave it below in the comments for me. But I think y'all are going to love this. Now, the only thing that could make this more delicious, of course, is cheese, glorious cheese. And I am using some cheddar jack cheese. You can use whatever kind you like. Let's see, I'm gonna use about 1 cup of this. And that's because I'm gonna put some Monterey Jack cheese on here too. This one is actually Colby and Monterey. For some reason at the grocery store yesterday, they did not have just a plain old Monterey Jack. Could have been the store I was at, I don't know. And like, you know, I'm using the Cache Valley. They didn't even have very many of the Tillamook, which I've just discovered and is my new favorite cheese. They didn't even have the store brand in Colby Jack and Monterey Jack. And this was, y'all, this was a Kroger. So I don't know what's going on. Perhaps there is a cheese shortage coming that we just don't know about yet and we haven't heard down the pipeline. Alrighty, everybody, I'm popping this in at 350 for just 30 minutes. Alrighty, y'all, we had this in the oven at 350 for 35 minutes. Look how amazing this looks. I cannot wait. Oh, you know what? I almost didn't even put my greenery on top. This is gonna make it healthy like a salad. These are just some dried chives, but you could use cilantro or whatever you like. And now here we go. Oh, ooh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, that looks so good. Oh my God, y'all, this is fit for a Hollywood movie star. Did you guess who it was that this is named after? The Duke? Famous cowboy? Oh, I didn't say Duke before. John Wayne, baby. Let's see how it is. Oh, look at my cheese. Oh my gosh. Cut my thick cheese, all those peppers, the onions, our seasoned ground beef, those Fritos. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my God. Incredible. 10 out of 10, y'all. You gotta try this. All right, now that I've got my pan lined with my rainbow sprinkles here, I'm just taking out the excess to use for another project. Now I've just got my vanilla icing here in a piping bag. I'm just gonna put some of this around to create the top of our treat. Should have made this tip a little bit bigger, but that's okay. We're gonna work with what we have right now. Now I did bake a cake to fit in here earlier and I took it out, I let everything cool completely. I'm just putting it down in there, but don't worry, we are gonna totally make this work. Now I'm gonna add in my Dreyer's slow churn vanilla. I did let this soften on the counter, not on the calendar. And I'm just gonna put some scoops of this right on in here. This is such a fun, easy, beautiful dessert to make. It totally looks like you bought it from the store, like you bought it from a fancy bakery. I love to make this for my friends' birthday parties, you know, an anniversary, an engagement party, a baby shower, so many special occasions. People just love this cake. All right, now we're just gonna spread this into an even layer down here. You can use whatever ice cream you want. You could use a strawberry. You could use, I love cookie dough ice cream. I don't know if I would put it in my cake, but chocolate, you know, there's so many possibilities with this. It's gonna be so beautiful, so yummy. Ooh, what kind of ice cream do you like, Jen?
Ooh, anything cookies and cream or mint chocolate chip.
Mint, you could do this for St. Patty's Day with a mint. Now that we've got our ice cream all spread, I'm coming in with a second layer of my vanilla frosting here. I'm just putting this around the edge, and you're gonna see why in a second. But like I said, all these flavors totally customizable. How good. We wanna make sure we kind of build this up into those sprinkles. That's really gonna help them stick to the frosting. You can use butter to grease your pan at the beginning to put the sprinkles in, or you can use, you know, Crisco, whatever your preference is. But this is gonna be so pretty and so delicious. I can't wait for you guys to see the final result. All right, now I'm coming in with the second half of my cake. I'm gonna kind of press that in, to my frosting, and don't worry about that. It's totally gonna stay together with everything we've got going on in here. Oh, this is gonna be fabulous. I've got a little bit of extra frosting in my bag, so I'm just gonna pipe that up a little bit higher to complete that layer between the cake and the sprinkles. Alrighty, y'all, we're just gonna pop this in the freezer, let it all get set. Alrighty, y'all. We put this in the freezer to just chill, to harden up, to solidify. And now I am just coming in with a plate here. We are gonna give this a flip. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you the final result. It's gonna be beautiful. Here's the moment. Oh my God, it's beautiful. All right, now we're just gonna slice in here. Oh, gorgeous. Could have let this ice cream settle in a little bit more, but I think this is gonna be amazing. Look at that. Homemade ice cream cake, box cake mix, so much cheaper than getting it from Baskin Robbins or from Carvel at the grocery store. Oh, I can't wait to try this. Oh my God, this is so good. You gotta try it. Alrighty, now that I've got my 10 cut up lemons in here with a little bit of sugar and my 4 cans of sweetened condensed milk, I am just using my masher here, and I'm gonna start muddling these lemons and getting the juice out. We're making a delicious summer treat today that everyone's gonna love. This is a take on a delicious classic. The sweetened condensed milk just makes it so creamy, and everyone loves this. It's a Southern recipe that I did learn from my grandmother. And I think if you're from the South, you must have had it this way too. All right, y'all, now that we got all these lemons smashed and muddled, and you can see that beautiful juice has come up and mixed here with our sweetened condensed milk, I'm just gonna take my little masher out of here, just letting that drip for a second because I don't wanna waste any of this beautiful, tasty goodness. All right, now we're adding some ice because we want this to be chilled. Now I'm coming in with my lemonade. I've got one that's just simply lemonade. Ooh, look at that lemon on top. And I got one that's 0 sugar because we are sort of cutting back on our calories without cutting back on flavor. All right, y'all, now we're just gonna give this a good stir and a mix to get that creamy, beautiful, tasty condensed milk all up into our lemonade here. Look at those lemons just floating to the top. Isn't that beautiful? And we're just stirring this together. This creamy, sweet lemonade is gonna be your new favorite summer treat. Ooh, gosh, that looks good. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna put a plate on top of this for a moment. And since it is the summer and we're celebrating a lot of patriotic holidays, I'm just gonna start with my patriotic sprinkles here. Of course, if it's not quite summer yet, you could do some spring colored sprinkles. Be really pretty too. And now I'm coming in with my glass here. I'm just gonna rim this with a little bit of lemon juice. Delicious. And now I'm gonna get some of these beautiful patriotic sprinkles all in here. All right, y'all, look how cute that is. Now I'm just coming in with my little Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, little ladle here. And I got this from my friends at Ototo, O-T-O-T-O. They make the cutest little kitchen tools. Y'all really need to check them out. So cute. Look at that, perfect. I'm just gonna garnish with a little lemon slice there, tiny little sprig of mint, and of course my patriotic straw. Y'all, this is so cute. Oh. Wow, this is absolutely incredible. It's amazing. Y'all, this is so refreshing, so delicious, much lighter than you're thinking it would be. Y'all need to try this.